Yes, it's December. That means it's December. Well, I guess it's supposed to mean Christmas is right around the corner, right? It might be. What's right around the corner is the squatting that we're going to do right now. That's what's right around the corner. Yeah, this is how you warm up if you want to. So yeah, we're going to squat. We're going to do Psalm 60. 60. Tell me what the fraction of 60 out of 150 is, or the percentage, because I don't know. It's not as easy as 50 or 75. Those would be easy numbers for me to figure out. When we get to 100, that'll be cool. But we're on 60 out of 150. And yeah, it's got a backstory, so that's cool. David's army won. Good guys beat the bad guys. So David's looking back, and he's going to celebrate what God's done. And so, since we know, we're cheating. We know where the psalm came from. We don't have to figure it out or kind of like guess. Like, what's David talking about here? But I will say the first couple verses, or really the first, I guess, four, it's like a little mysterious if he's making an exact reference to something or just the general reference of like, God, look at how far you've brought us. Look at how far we've come. So let's get into it. O God, thou hast cast us off, thou hast scattered us, thou hast been displeased. O turn thyself to us again. Doesn't sound very victorious, right? So is this a recount of like Israel wandering in the wilderness, or when they were in the period of the judges, where it was just pure chaos? I don't know, 100%. He goes, Thou hast made the earth to tremble, thou hast broken it, healed the breaches thereof, for it shaketh. That sounds like an earthquake to me. Thou hast showed thy people hard things. Thou hast made us to drink the wine of astonishment. So clearly, down times, bad times, chaos, confusion, all the things that we would say aren't, you know, God's ultimate plan for for us. Periods that we'll go through in life, for sure, but that's not the end. That's not the goal. That's not what we're striving towards. He goes, verse 4, it starts to kind of turn a corner here. Thou hast given a banner to them that fear thee, that it may be displayed because of the truth. Selah. So, three verses describing, the negative. Then verse 4, we're bringing it back around, you know, and then there's, the word Selah, pause, think about it. So we're going to pause and think about it while I do a warm-up set. A banner of truth. I mean, I like that idea. You know, in spite of all these bad things happening, David's from the hindsight position himself, a victory. But he's like, hey, you've done all this. We've come from all this, but we have this banner of truth that we can follow to get through it, not wallow in it, not get bogged down in it, but move through it with this banner of truth. So I like that illustration because in the military in particular, and I guess other things too, but in the military, and just countries, they have flags that represent, you look for it in battle, like, oh, look, there's our people. Let's move toward the flag. Let's move toward the banner. We got to rally around that so that we can move forward and not be scattered away from the truth. Think about that illustration. Here's the banner of truth. Are we going to rally to the truth, or are we going to stay scattered and fractured like an earthquake breaking us all apart? I mean, there's a lot of really deep metaphors there if you start. Why he says Selah. Think about it. There's a lot of deep metaphors in Psalm 60, and we're only 4 verses in. Pretty wild stuff, huh? Oh, yeah. That feels pretty good. So what's next? Speaking of chaos, there's been some chaos in here. I don't know. There's been some chaos. Probably Thanksgiving weekend, Everybody's like, I ate too much, I'm fat. Let's go mess up a gym real quick. Alright, so here is, if we're telling this like in a story form a little bit, you've got Banner of Truth, and you've got people are scattered, fractured, but then here's the Banner of Truth. Let's rally to the truth. That thy beloved may be delivered, save with thy right hand and answer me. Whose right hand? God's. You know, he's talking to God here. Oh, verse 1, oh God. Like he's addressing God. So, asking for God's right hand. God has spoken in his holiness. I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem and mete out the valley of Succoth. Gilead is mine. Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of my head. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia, triumph thou because of me. Making some statements here. Essentially reminding, we're talking about like the Jewish tribes. Ephraim, Manasseh, Judah, Gilead is a place. Those other three, Manasseh and Ephraim and Judah, those are all tribes, of Israel at the time. And then then he starts talking about some of these enemy nations that are around that we know who they are. You read Old Testament enough that they're always having problems, or for a period of time had problems with these nations, and he's just sort of, putting them down, so to speak. Moab is my wash pot, like wash your dishes in Moab, and Edom, you dump your shoes out. I guess nowadays we dump out our work boots at the end of the day, bang off well, for me it's grass and dirt and whatever. You don't want to track that in the house, so you bang them out over the yard. Well, that's Edom to this guy. And Philistia, That's a little clunky the way King James interprets it. Philistia triumphed thou because of me. It's just really saying I'm triumphing over Philistia. And for David in particular, that was like a major enemy for a while, in David's life, were the Philistines. And who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Wilt not thou, O God, which has cast us off? So he's talking about, hey, I want, it used to be, God wasn't, doesn't say whose fault that was, by the way, because if it's a reference to, say, the 40 years, or if it's a reference to the period, the judges, you definitely know that they brought that on themselves. It wasn't like God just decided, hey, you know what? I just don't like you guys anymore. I'm gonna go over here and hang out with these other people. No, I mean they brought that on themselves. But now David's recognizing that God had been doing that, and justifiably so. But now, he is leading this charge. God is taking care of business on behalf of his people. Wilt not thou, O God, which had cast us off, and thou, O God, which did not go out with our armies. So another period of the judges there was at the end of Judges. You had Eli's two sons. He might be referencing this, I don't know. But they had taken the Ark of the Covenant like a good luck charm, thinking, hey, we'll just put this in the middle of this battle and we'll have to win. God will have to let us win because it's his ark. Well, not only did God, not let them win, he also let the ark get captured because it's not a good luck charm. It's not magic. Oh, we got the ark. It's in the battle. It's untouchable. No, God is God. All these things symbolize, as important as they are and as special as they were and as holy as that was, and they couldn't look at it, they couldn't touch it. At the same time, it was just a box that God wanted them to. It was like, we'll see how well you respect this box before you talk about how well you're going to respect me, God Almighty. They didn't take care of the box. So there you go, right? The Philistines had more fear and respect for the Ark of the Covenant than the children of Israel did when you really read that story and break down the way it was treated. They were much more concerned with its handling than the Israelites were. So it could be that. So let's do some of this and keep talking about this victory that David's just had. All right, moving right along. Yeah, this is so awkward with this bench right here. Good bench though. Don't want to move it. Well, what is David gonna say next? You never know if you think about it. In these psalms, like what's gonna happen next? Because he will like turn on a dime. I don't think he's going to do that here because he's sort of in this mode of praising God now. Because he goes, who's going to do this? Oh, God, of course. God, it's cool how he's giving God this credit the whole time. Like, they won. I mean, they had a big major victory here. You know, Joab and his army, his men had killed like 12,000 Edomites in the Valley of Salt. Part of the backstory. He goes, give us help from trouble, for vain is the help of man. Through God we shall do valiantly, for it is he that shall tread down our enemies. So, you know, after this victory, it's kicking butt all the way around. If you go back and read, you'll see where David was able to really push and expand the borders and bring like a period of peace finally into Israel. So, but it's all about God at the end of the day. It's the victory is from God. I mean, yeah, the historical fact is that they beat this nation. Joab's army, did this. David accomplished that. That's the historical. That's the earthly, physical side to this. But on the spiritual reality is, if God hadn't been in it, none of that would have happened. And so, the spiritual and the physical, they're always in this sort of tension in our heads because we don't fully understand how they work together. But we see them constantly working together. It's just how. I guess the question for a lot, at least for me, I'm always asking is how. How is all this happening on the spiritual, unseen realm? And then on the other side is in the physical world. You wake up, you go to work. You wake up, you do stuff with your kids. Your spouse. You got this thing. You got church. You got all these things. And then, you hit your goals. I mean, our goals really usually don't include going to some enemy nation and like wiping them out. But our goals, whatever they might be, that we're accomplishing, the victories in our life. It's almost like when you read the Bible and you see these Psalms like this one in particular, it's like the spiritual victory preceded, the physical victory. Like God's going out. God is going before us to do this, ahead of us to do this. But at the same time, we're physically doing things. So you kind of see the tension here. And so David doesn't really worry too much about figuring out the tension. He's just acknowledging, God, you went with us. God, your mighty right hand. God, your victory. We're just enjoying it, even though we physically did some things, So again, that tension. It's beautiful because, if we're in God's will, that's the main thing. But I still want to figure it all out. So go out and have a good day if you want to.